Not even the depths of hell could have forged a diamond this special.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Saffir Reacts, where I react to viral videos or videos that I find on the internet that I'm gonna go ahead and bring to you to give you in-depth further explanation as to what's going on and some behind the scenes as to what we're watching in the video. So let's go ahead. So I pulled up this video here. And the caption says, second truck I've seen with this company, and both times a cop was driving. He's on his 10 break right now, which the person with that left the caption, a 10 is referring to his 10-hour break. Before you can start work the following day, you need to take a 10-hour break, which is different from a mandatory 34-hour restart. The 10 hours isn't mandatory to be taken all in one shot. You could do like a split sleeper berth, which is, that's way in depth, and the math gets all crazy and wonky. But what they're referring to is the 10-hour break that this truck or this driver is taking at the moment. So he also says, stay alert, drivers. All right, so it looks like Cadence. He zooms in on the US DOT number. Okay, I'm gonna pause it. Trooper in a truck program gives police a new vantage point to stop distracted driving. Has anyone heard of this? Actually, this concept is not new. I've actually heard about this a couple years ago. My buddy Chris and we were actually talking about it. I think they started rolling this out somewhere out west. I want to say Tennessee or somewhere like that, where we had got wind of it, but it hasn't made its way up to the Northeast yet.
It's not what you'd expect to see state police climb into heading out on patrol, but not seeing them is exactly why they are turning to big rigs to help crack down on distracted driving.
It was amazing how many people are actually texting and driving, holding their cell phone in their hand.
Well, it's extremely effective. When the police aren't, when the motoring public believes that the police is not paying attention or aren't present, you get to see a lot of the aggressive driving. You'll see drivers passing on the shoulder. You'll see the texting.
All right, so let me point that out. So a lot of times while driving a truck, you will see some of the most craziest things. Everything from, I've seen people, you know, literally looking at themselves in the mirror, putting on makeup, people getting changed in their car, people doing elude acts in their car, texting, not even paying attention, watching TV, just complete disregard for everyone else and everyone else's safety on the road. So I am kind of biased towards this. I think that it is good that they are doing this stuff, but it is not, how would I say it? I'm biased. So it's, I see why they're doing it, but also I feel like there's a hidden agenda to it. So let's go ahead and resume it.
And cell phone use.
From their higher vantage point, troopers are able to spot distracted drivers.
Texting right here.
The black one,
Black Ford.
And radio the offending vehicle information to waiting patrol cars ahead, who pull them over and issue a ticket.
He would not allow me in. Well, he was pretty busy texting.
It's called the Trooper in a Truck program, an initiative between ISP and the Illinois Trucking Association to make the roads safer for all of us.
Text message or phone call is not as important as somebody's life.
Officials say distracted driving is the leading cause of...
All right. So I'm going to pause it because they pointed out something very they pointed out something that is Again, I am biased, but they pointed out something which has to do with both sides of the playing field. The general motor public, or all three sides of the playing field. The general motor public, CMV, or commercial motor vehicle, or CDL drivers, and law enforcement. All three of these categories of people are all guilty of doing the same exact thing. Like, how often do you see that law enforcement is on their phone texting? As nice as it is that, the law enforcement officer's not writing you a ticket because you just so happen to glide through a stop sign. But if you look over, he's on duty, driving through a parking lot while doing something on his phone or looking over at his laptop. There was actually a case where a cyclist was actually turning onto a road and a police officer hit him, clear as day, off his bike.
Wow! Ah! You mother! Why the f are you looking at your phone, officer?
I got a text from a fucking another officer here. Give me a second.
You mother f. Oh. 396. God damn it! Why are you texting? I don't care if you're texting.
I wasn't texting. I was looking at my phone.
Either way.
Yeah, I know. That was my bad.
Why are you doing that in a turn?
I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't remember what was the actual outcome of it. I know that the police officer offered EMS, he did his due diligence to make sure that the cyclist was not seriously injured or whatever have you. But, the officer was on his work issued laptop. So whereas the general motor public and commercial drivers and police officers are guilty of being on their handheld devices, what about police laptops and tablets and other forms of distracted driving? So, and I feel like it's a one-way street. Like, you can't, like, yeah, you could report it to their supervisor, but now you're just a target. You just painted a target on your back. So you gotta take it with a grain of salt, really. All right, let's resume it.
In the year the program has been rolling, troopers have used semi-trucks to patrol sections of I-57, I-55, I-70, and today, I-80, catching drivers doing the things they should not do. Today, more than 20 citations were written in just that very short detail for things like cell phone violations, improper lane changes, following too closely. And troopers say this isn't about money and citations, it's about safety and education. And maybe, just maybe, next time, those drivers will drive safely, not knowing who's in the cab of that truck driving next to them.
Notice that the news reporter said that the officers told her it wasn't about giving out tickets or the money. It was about safety and education. I'd say, me personally, that if you want to promote education on it, then what needs to happen is that before people get a driver's license, they should be required to undergo and be educated on tractor trailer safety, when I was in school, we were taught drive for five. So what drive for five means is you're driving not only for yourself, but the person in front of you, the person to the left and the right of you, and the person behind you. You are the sole person responsible for all of those five people. You personally. So if everyone took that same approach, that same approach, and they really want to promote education, I'm not saying that, do I think that drivers need to learn about air brakes and how they work and, how to perform an air brake test and how to do an under the hood inspection or a circle check or, know how to adjust a trucker's brakes, but learn about proper lane changes, leaving a truck enough time to adequately lane change, braking especially, and to teach the general population and the general public, the general motoring public, how the difference between the stopping distance of a car and a truck and what those parameters are. Because I feel like, giving out tickets, it's just a money thing, but I want to see the education behind it. That officer was like, oh, he didn't let me merge or didn't let me cross over because he was texting. Let's say that driver just so happened to be, let's say he wasn't texting. Let's say he was fully focused, hands on the 9 and 3 or the 10 and 2 or whatever they teach you nowadays. I don't know. I haven't been to a driving school in I don't know how long. But let's say he just looks over, he sees your blinker, and then he decides, nah, I don't want to let you in. Maybe educate the general motoring public about better road etiquette. If that truck has had his blinker on for, the last mile before a construction zone and no one is letting him in, and then now the safety cones have come up, the signs have come up, he's ran out of space. When is someone going to let him in? Education. I want to see that. Let's see that education that they're talking about. Tickets, yeah, that's cool. Maybe taking a class or two, but I want to see the preempt education on teaching the general motoring public about trucker safety and even about maneuvers. Sometimes we'll have to pull on the opposite side of the street to perform what's called an alley dock, where we back our trailer in around a corner that we can't see behind the trailer until we swing the tractor around. Let's talk about that. Let's teach the general population about the industry that delivers all of their commodities. And also, let's start putting more responsibility back on those drivers, back on the general motoring public. Because a lot of times, a commercial driver will be blamed for something that he or she is supposed to be able to predict. Or they felt that it could have been avoided. But again, it's the turning, it's the braking, it's the maneuvers, it's the truck's response to or evasive action that needs to be performed, and reaction time from this driver who's been sitting behind the wheel for up to 11 hours a day driving, and all they've been watching are just lines past them. You really think that driver is going to have the reaction time? You know, if someone cuts in front of them and then jams on their brake. Let's talk about education, please. Let's not make this a one-way street. Let's talk about education. Let's see what they're doing to make our roads and our highways that much safer. Not only for the lives of truckers, not only for the lives of the general motor public, but for pedestrians, even for, you know, the students that are getting off of the bus. Did you know that that bus driver has to have a CDL license with a passenger endorsement sometimes in some states? And that, you know, things happen, you know, and it's not always the trucker's fault. So make sure you leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this video. I plan on bringing you more and more great content. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because regular subscriptions don't mean a thing. And make sure you chime in the comment section. So I'll see you guys on the next video.